Mike Alvarado, Ruslan Provodnikov. Provodnikov, the Russian in this fight. It is going to be taking place in the Mile High.
Yeah.
Of course, where Mike Alvarado is from. Alvarado only has 1 loss on his record. Provodnikov has 5, though his last fight against Timothy Bradley certainly oohed and awed everybody because he not only gave Bradley a concussion, but then he also took the fight to Timothy Bradley, something that a lot of people don't do against Timothy Bradley, let alone he doesn't really get knocked down at all. He had to take a knee in the 12th. What did Provodnikov show you in that fight? And is he deserving maybe of a title shot down the road?
It's going to be a fight that kind of throws him into the spotlight of boxing. People already love the style of fighting that he brings to the ring. You know, they know he's a come forward, seek and destroy kind of guy. He's coming to hurt you. He's not really coming to play games and do any fancy
And what
boxing.
does he do when he walks in?
He's going to do this.
The shoulder roll.
He's going to be moving his head and moving his shoulders. But, you know exactly what he's coming to do. He's coming to walk straight forward, walk you down, beat you up, and take you out of there.
See, now here's my question about Alvarado. He proved in Alvarado Rios, too, that he can be a technical fighter at times. He can certainly not only put forth a good training camp, but he can outbox a guy like a Brandon Rios. So out of anything, here's my question. Does he have the technical skills to keep on going forth with his strategy and outbox Provodnikov and possibly win what seems like a decision?
Absolutely.
He does.
I think that he has the legs, I think he has the skills, and I think he has the weapons. What I noticed in the Provodnikov-Bradley fight is Provodnikov doesn't always fight behind the jab. When you have somebody like Alvarado, you definitely want to fight that person behind the jab because you know he's going to be on his bike, as they call it, but he's going to be trying to box. He doesn't want to relive the first Brandon Rios.
He's going to be circling
fight.
around.
He's going to be circling around, using that lateral movement, popping that jab. And so when you're the pressure fighter trying to get in, you need to also use your jab so you're not walking straight into punches.
You said Alvarado has the skills, as Tim Hardaway would say. What skills does he have exactly?
Well, he has the better boxing ability. Like I said, he has the better legs. I feel like he has the jab. He throws punches and combinations. When he's at his best, he's popping that jab, getting off combinations, and using lateral movement. And, you know, that's what the game of boxing is all about. Sometimes you can get drawn into a slugfest when you have that, you know, just that fortitude and that heart of a fighter. But if he's smart, he won't settle into that kind of fight with Provodnikov.
So the kind of fight that he needs to fight is the same that he fought against Brandon Rios. Just stay on the outside, use his jab, and just work his improving boxing ability, I guess is safe to say.
Work on his improving boxing ability, absolutely. If there's a chance where what we know about both fighters is they're both human. Both fighters have been hurt before.
I think every fighter is somewhat human. What do you say?
What I mean by that is we've seen their vulnerabilities, both of them.
Certainly.
And so we know that Provodnikov is not a machine. We know that he doesn't have a granite chin. He has a very good chin. He doesn't mind getting hurt to win the fight. But both men have been hurt before. So if he compromises him in any way in the ring, he can definitely take advantage of it because he hits hard enough to get him out of there.
He certainly showed that he could take a punch because in that Timothy Bradley fight, he was there to get hit. His face looked battered and beaten.
Yeah.
And although he was a little upset with the decision at the time with Face Off, Max Kellerman on HBO, he said, "No, you know what? Now that I went back and looked at it, Bradley won the fight.
Yeah,
it was kind of obvious Bradley won the fight." So I mean, how does we're talking about Alvarado all of a sudden? How does Provodnikov win this fight? I mean, does he go for the knockout? Obviously, it appears that he's going to. But I mean, can he knock out Mike Alvarado?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said before, both men have shown the vulnerability to be hurt in that ring. He was knocked out by Brandon Rios, who was a smaller fighter coming up. Provodnikov is, you know, just more comfortable at this weight of 147. I don't think that this style of fight that it's going to be is that different from the Brandon Rios Alvarado fights. We know that, you know, this is a fighter like Brandon Rios who's going to come for Alvarado. Alvarado, his job is to stay composed and not fight that style of fight. He can do it. He likes to do it, but it's smarter for him to box. And that's what the controversy is. That's what the fans are, you know, is he going to stand in there and box? I mean, is he going to stand there and fight or is he going to box?
Right.
You ask me, what does Provodnikov have to do to get the victory?
Yeah.
I think that, you know, absolutely he has to come in. He has to walk his man down. He has to come in behind the jab, and he has to give his man angles. Is what I noticed in the fight with Bradley is he gets centered.
Yes.
He gets centered, and he wants to plant his feet and land that overhand right or that big left hook, and he gets centered, and he doesn't move his head, which is why Tim Bradley was able to pop off those quick combinations and use lateral movement to, you know, kind of confuse him.
Sure.
But if he comes in, uses his own jab, and gives his man angles, he can get off those power punches before Mike Alvarado can see him.
Another edge you could say for Alvarado, he has a 3-inch reach.
Oh, yeah.
So that will also be pretty important. Here's what Provodnikov said on Face-Off with Max Kellerman. Whoever can break the other's will is going to win. It's not going to be about technique, simply war. Mm-hmm. I love that. Simply war is what it's going to be. So, I mean, here's sort of the thing. When we did Alvarado Rios 2, I posed the question, I believe it was to Robert Exel. I'm not sure if you were there for the preview. It was probably to Robert. And so I posed the question to him. You know, a guy like Alvarado, who is just a home run hitter, he goes for the home run every time he throws. Can he outbox a guy? He says that he wants to, but once he gets hit by one of those big, you know, Rio shots, is he going to go back to his old ways, or is he going to stay with his new ways? He showed me a lot because he stayed with his new ways. He didn't go back. Yes, exactly. Smart. You're pointing at your head. He didn't just go back to trying to throw bombs away with Breno Rios and go into a slugfest. He won that because he got hit, and he thought, you know what? I'm getting hit, but I'm going to keep going forward with the strategy at hand and the game at hand. Absolutely. So he already proved that to me. It sounds like he's proving that to you. So what do you think about this fight? Final word.
Final word on this fight, I'm going to have to go with the better boxer with the better skills and more weapons, which is Mike Alvarado, en route to a 12-round decision. I think that we're going to see some fireworks because there is not a chance that at some point he's not going to plant his feet and want to exchange with Provodnikov just to see what kind of power he has, what kind of damage he can cause to Provodnikov. And I think that Provodnikov, you know, in all of his fights is going to provide a very exciting opponent.
Who do you think is the harder puncher between the two?
Definitely, I'll have to say Provodnikov because he plants his feet more. And, you know, like I've said time and time again, you know, when you're fleet-footed, you can't really get a lot of power on your shots unless you're just an amazing, you know, power puncher. But Provodnikov plants his feet, man, and he really knows how to land that overhand right, which I think is his money punch. Definitely. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing for me. Again, if he goes back to his boxing ability, if he shows that he can not only exchange at times, but that he will just shy away from exchanging and outbox Provodnikov and just wear him down over and over again throughout the entire fight, he's going to win. And I think he wins a 12-round decision. I don't think either of them get knocked out. I was looking at the message boards, though. A lot of people were saying, Mike Alvarado's going to knock out Provodnikov. It's going to be in the 7th. It's going to be in the 8th. I can't see Provodnikov getting knocked out, though.
Not a chance. Provodnikov isn't getting knocked out, and Alvarado isn't getting knocked out. He's not going to stick around long enough to get knocked out. He already learned his lesson from the fight with Breno Rios.
Sure.
And Provodnikov is just a monster, you know, so he's going to take a lot of punishment. And if you don't think that he can take, you know, tons of punishment, go back and watch the Timothy Bradley fight.
Yes.
He took tons of punches in that fight, unnecessarily at times, just to get off one punch.
The evidence was on his face.
The evidence was on his face.
After that fight, too. I mean, it's obvious.